Everything they had. The space between the fleets lit up like a newborn star. The human fleet did not move. Their shields shimmered into existence, strange patterns of light that seemed to bend reality itself. Every single shot, every single weapon, simply vanished as it touched those shields. Not deflected, not absorbed, vanished, as if it had never existed. Zector stared in disbelief. Fire again? All weapons. The Zaldor Armada fired everything. Enough firepower to destroy a planet. It all vanished into the human shields like raindrops into an ocean. Then the human fleet moved. They did not fire weapons. They simply accelerated, moving between the Zaldor ships faster than sensors could track. As they passed, Zaldor vessels suddenly went dark. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just offline. Dead in space. Report. Zector shouted. Sir, all weapons systems are offline. Engines are offline. Everything except life support is offline. And sir, the tactical officer's voice trembled. Our weapons are gone. Gone? Erased, sir. The entire weapons array. It is as if they reached into our ships and simply deleted them. No trace remains. Not even molecular residue. 17 minutes after it began, the battle ended. 3,000 Zaldor warships hung in space, powerless and helpless. Not a single crew member had been killed. Not a single hull had been breached. But the most feared military force in the galaxy had been completely neutralized. General. Zector received a message from Captain Chen. Her voice was gentle, almost apologetic. General, we tried to warn you. We did not want this. But you need to understand something. Humanity spent 300 years surviving in unknown space. We built technologies you cannot imagine because we had to. We evolved beyond what we were because we had no choice. We could have destroyed your fleet. We chose not to. Please take that choice seriously. Transmission ended. Zector sat in his dead ship, surrounded by his defeated armada, and for the first time in his long military career, he felt genuine fear. The humans had not just defeated them, they had made it look effortless. On Earth, Dr. Venn arrived on a shuttle, carrying a desperate proposal. He met Captain Chen in person, in the ruins of the old United Nations building. Captain Chen, he said, I am Dr. Venn. I have studied your people for decades. I never believed you were extinct. Dr. Venn, I have read your papers. You were one of the few who saw the truth. I need you to meet with council species who had nothing to do with Earth's occupation. The Kretel, the Galrith, others. They are afraid. They see what you did to the Zaldor, and they think you will conquer the galaxy. We do not want to conquer anyone, and prove it. Meet with them. Show them humanity seeks justice, not dominion. Chen considered this. I will meet them, but only on one condition. The meetings happen here. On Earth, they must see what was done to our world. They must understand why we fight. Venn agreed immediately. Within 3 days, delegates from 60 council species arrived on Earth. What they saw broke many of them. The ruins of cities. The genetic modification facilities where Vryn scientists had altered human DNA to make them weaker. The monuments that had been toppled and history that had been erased. And worst of all, the freed humans who still bore the scars of 2 centuries of slavery. Director Zephyx stood in what had once been the Library of Congress. Now, a hollow shell. He had reviewed the full records, seen the evidence of council complicity, and now, seeing the results firsthand, he felt something crack inside him. Captain Chen, he said quietly, I am sorry. Those words are insufficient, but they are all I have. Chen looked at him. Director, I do not want your apology. I want your help. Help us rebuild. Help us ensure this never happens to any species again. Do that, and we can move forward. Zephyx nodded, unable to speak. Around him, other delegates made similar pledges. But not all. The Vryn delegation, led by Ambassador Kelrath, stood apart, faces hard with anger and pride. The galaxy was fracturing, and the question remained, Would humanity's return lead to peace, or would it tear everything apart? The galaxy never expected humanity's return, and the consequences hit immediately. Part 5, The New Equilibrium. The summit on Earth had been going for 3 days. Captain Sarah Chen sat across from representatives of over 60 council species. Some were sympathetic, some were afraid, and some, like Ambassador Kelrath of the Vryn, were simply angry. "Your terms are unacceptable," Kelrath declared, his forearms crossed. "You demand we withdraw from all worlds with human populations. You demand reparations. You demand full council membership with veto power. These are the demands of conquerors, not victims." Chen remained calm. "We are not demanding anything we do not deserve. The Vryn Collective built an economy on enslaved humans. 2 centuries of forced labor, genetic modification, cultural erasure. We are owed compensation for those crimes." "Crimes?" Kelrath laughed bitterly. "We found primitives on a dead world and gave them purpose, gave them structure. You call that crime? I call it exactly what it is. Slavery, theft, genocide of culture and identity." Chun's voice remained steady, but fire burned in her eyes. "And you will acknowledge it, or you will face consequences." "Threats?" Kelrath stood. "You have disabled our fleets. You have stolen our workers. You have humiliated us before the entire galaxy. And now you threaten more? The Vryn Collective rejects your terms?" "Completely. Earth and all colony worlds with human populations are rightfully ours by salvage law. If you want them, you will have to take them by force." Kelrath and the Vryn delegation walked out. Several other species allied with the Vryn followed. The summit appeared to be falling apart. Director Zephix looked at Chen with worry. "Captain, without Vryn cooperation, any peace agreement is meaningless. They are too influential, too economically powerful. If they refuse, others will follow." Chen nodded slowly. "Then we have a decision to make." In her quarters that night, Chen met with her senior staff. Commander Marcus Webb paced like a caged animal. "Captain, the answer is obvious. We show them what our weapons can actually do. Not just disable their ships. Destroy them. Hit the Vryn homeworld hard enough that they have no choice but to surrender." "You want to kill them," Chen said quietly. "I want them to understand they cannot win. Right now, they think we are weak because we have not killed anyone. They think our mercy is weakness. Prove it is not. Show them we could exterminate them if we wanted to." Dr. Venn, who had been invited to the meeting, shook his head. "Violence will only breed more violence. You would make martyrs of the Vryn, turn them from criminals into victims. The galaxy would never accept humanity if you slaughter them." "But doing nothing lets them win," Webb argued. "They walk away, rebuild, and in 50 years they try this again. We need to break them now." Lieutenant Park spoke up. "There is a third option." The council proposed economic sanctions. Cut the Vryn off from all trade. Their economy is already collapsing. Give it time, and they will have no choice but to negotiate. "Time is a luxury," Webb said. "Every day we wait, more humans suffer on Vryn worlds." Chen listened to them all. She thought of her grandmother, who died so humanity could survive. She thought of the freed slaves, finally reunited with their heritage. She thought of the galaxy, watching to see what humanity would become. "None of these options are right," she said finally. "We do not attack because that makes us the monsters they fear. We do not wait because our people suffer. And we do not accept the status quo because that makes our return meaningless. Then what do we do?" Webb asked. Chen smiled slightly. "We do what humanity does best. We try something they do not expect." 2 days later, Captain Chen made a broadcast. Not to governments or military leaders, but directly to the citizens of the Vryn Collective. "People of Vryn," she said, speaking from Earth's surface with ruins visible behind her. "My name is Captain Sarah Chen. I am human. 300 years ago, my species left Earth to survive an extinction event. We thought our home was doomed. We were wrong. When we returned, we found our world occupied. Our people enslaved. Our history erased. The broadcast showed footage of the mining camps, the genetic modification facilities, the freed humans, scarred and traumatized. Many Vryn citizens, watching from their homes, shifted uncomfortably. Your government has refused to acknowledge what was done. They claim we were primitives, not worth recognition. That enslaving us was acceptable because we were lesser beings. They have rejected peace. They have chosen continued conflict. Chen paused. But I do not believe you are your government. I do not believe most Vryn people support slavery, support cultural genocide. So I am making you an offer. Come to Earth. See the evidence for yourselves. See what was done in your name. See the freed humans who can finally tell their stories. Then go home and decide. Is this what you want your civilization to be known for? She looked directly into the camera. I am broadcasting the coordinates where you can safely travel to Earth. We guarantee your safety. No Vryn who comes to witness the truth will be harmed. We only ask that you look, that you listen, that you see what your government does not want you to know. Then make your own choice about what justice looks like. The broadcast ended. Ambassador Kelroth, watching from the Vryn homeworld, was furious. She is attempting to undermine our government, attempting to turn our own people against us. This is psychological warfare. The Galactic Council chamber floated in the void between stars, a massive station where hundreds of species gathered to discuss the affairs of civilized space. Today's session was supposed to be routine. Ambassador Kelroth of the Vryn Collective stood at the central podium, his forearms gesturing at holographic displays that showed ancient ruins. Honored delegates, Kelroth said in his clicking voice, our archaeological team has completed the survey of the Sol system. The evidence is conclusive. The species that once called themselves humanity destroyed themselves approximately 300 years ago. The delegates murmured among themselves. It was a familiar story. Many primitive species reached for the stars too quickly, obtained weapons they could not control, and reduced their homeworlds to radioactive ash. Director Zephix, the insectoid leader of the council, tapped his mandibles together thoughtfully. His compound eyes reflected the images of ruined cities on Earth, broken colonies on Mars, and shattered stations around Venus. The same fate befalls those who advance too quickly without wisdom, he said. Let their memory serve as a warning to others. Dr. Venn, a tall Galrith with silver skin and wise eyes, shifted uncomfortably in his seat. For years he had studied the human ruins. Something about the destruction pattern never felt right to him. Nuclear weapons left certain signatures, certain patterns. The Earth ruins did not quite match those patterns, but he had no proof, only suspicions, so he remained silent. The Sol system will remain under Vryn administration, Kelroth continued. The mining operations on Earth have been most profitable. The planet contains rare minerals that every screen in the chamber suddenly went dark. Then they blazed back to life, filled with warning symbols. Alarms screamed through the station. Delegates jumped to their feet in confusion and fear. What is happening? Zephix demanded. A young Kretel officer rushed into the chamber, his wings buzzing frantically. Director, we are detecting quantum signatures. Dozens of them, all appearing simultaneously in the outer Perseus arm. Quantum signatures? Zephix's voice rose. That technology does not exist. What could possibly, sir? They are ships. Large ones. And they are broadcasting identification codes. The officer's voice trembled. Ancient Terran standard codes, sir. Chamber fell absolutely silent. Every delegate stared at the screens as data streamed across them. Ship after ship appeared from nowhere, their quantum drives creating ripples in space itself. The technology was unlike anything the Council possessed. Kelrath's skin turned pale gray. Impossible. The humans are extinct. We surveyed their worlds. We found their bodies. Attempting contact now, the communications officer announced. Static filled the chamber, then cleared. A voice spoke in perfect galactic common, but with an accent that made several elder delegates gasp in recognition. It was the accent of ancient Earth. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran Expeditionary Fleet. We are transmitting our identification and diplomatic credentials. We are coming home." The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted questions, accusations, demands. Zephyx slammed his clawed hand on his desk, calling for order. This must be a deception. Some species using old human codes too. "Sir, we are receiving visual confirmation," the officer interrupted. On every screen, an image appeared. A human woman in a crisp uniform stood on a ship's bridge. Behind her, other humans worked at stations filled with technology that made council scientists look like children playing with toys. Captain Chen's face was calm, but her eyes held something fierce and unyielding. 300 years ago, humanity left Earth to survive. Now we are returning. We hope for peaceful relations with the Galactic Council. However, we are coming home regardless of your decision. Dr. Venn stood slowly, his heart racing. He had been right. Humanity had not destroyed themselves. They had left. But why? And where had they been? Captain Chen Zephyx said, trying to maintain his authority. "The Sol system is now under council jurisdiction." "You cannot simply Director Zephyx," Chen interrupted quietly. "We are not asking for permission. We are informing you of our return. Our fleet will reach Earth's orbit in 72 hours. We expect all of our people still living there to be ready for reunion, your people." Kelroth stepped forward, his voice sharp. "There are no humans on Earth except the primitive descendants who you enslaved," Chen said, and her voice could have frozen stars. "Yes, Ambassador. We know about that too. We know what you did to our world while we were gone." The screen switched to show the human fleet in detail. There were not dozens of ships. There were hundreds. Each one bristled with weapons that council sensors could not fully analyze. Their shields flickered with energy signatures that should not be possible. "How?" Zephyx whispered. "How did you survive? How did you build this?" "That," Chen said, "is a long story. One we will share when we arrive. Until then, I suggest the Council prepares for humanity's return. We have been gone for 3 centuries. We have changed. We have grown. And we have not forgotten what we left behind." The transmission ended. The chamber remained in stunned silence. Finally, Kelroth spoke, his voice shaking. "We must mobilize the defense fleets. We cannot allow. Dr. Venn laughed bitterly. "Did you see those ships? Did you analyze their technology? They are centuries beyond us. If they wanted to destroy the Council, they could do it before we fired a single shot. Then what do?" A delegate cried out. Zephyx looked at the empty screens where Chen's face had been. "We prepare," he said quietly, "and we pray that humanity's mercy is greater than our guilt." In the depths of space, the Terran Expeditionary Fleet moved forward. On the bridge of the Tef Avalon, Captain Sarah Chen stood before the viewport, watching the stars stream past. Her reflection in the glass showed a woman who had left Earth as a young officer and returned as a hardened commander. Behind her, her second officer approached. "Captain, we are detecting increased Council fleet movements." "They are mobilizing," let them, Chen said softly. "We did not cross 300 years and half the galaxy to be turned away at our own door." She touched the viewport gently, as if she could reach through the glass and touch Earth itself. "We are coming home," she whispered, "and nothing in this galaxy will stop us." The fleet jumped to quantum drive, vanishing in flashes of impossible light. 72 hours until Earth. 72 hours until the galaxy learned what humanity had become. And in the council chamber, Director Zephyx looked at the reports streaming across his desk and felt something he had not experienced in centuries. Fear, The galaxy never expected humanity's return and the consequences. Hit immediately, Part 2. The Forgotten Exodus. Captain Sarah Chen sat in her quarters aboard the Tef Avalon, staring at the personal log she had recorded 300 years ago. The face looking back at her from the screen was younger, more hopeful, but already carrying the weight of impossible choices. Personal log, Lieutenant Sarah Chen, date March 15th, 2325. Her recorded voice said, "Tomorrow we enter cryosleep. Tomorrow, we leave Earth forever. I want to remember why. I want whoever wakes me up to understand what we are doing and why we had no choice. Jen paused the recording. Even after all this time, the memories hurt. She took a deep breath and continued watching. 6 months ago, Dr. James Park detected it, a dark matter cascade moving through our region of space. He spent weeks checking his calculations, praying he was wrong. He was not. The cascade would hit Earth in 9 years. When it did, it would strip away our atmosphere, boil our oceans, and sterilize every living thing on the planet. On the screen, young Sarah's eyes filled with tears. We tried everything. We sent desperate messages to the Galactic Council, begging for help, for technology, for anything. They never responded. We were too primitive for them to care about. We had applied for council membership 3 times. 3 times they rejected us. Said we were not ready. Not advanced enough? Now we were dying, and they did not even have the decency to answer our calls. Chen remembered those dark days. The panic. The riots. The despair as governments collapsed and people realized there was no escape. Humanity does not give up, her younger self said. And despite the tears, there was steel in her voice. If the council would not save us, we would save ourselves. Project Exodus launched in secret. 1,000 generation ships, built in hidden shipyards across the outer solar system. Each ship could carry 10,000 people in cryosleep. 10 million souls. Not all of humanity, but enough. Enough to survive. The recording shifted to show images of the massive ships being built. Humans working day and night, pouring every resource they had into the vessels that would carry their species into the void. But there was a problem, young Sarah continued. Our quantum tunnel drives were experimental, untested. We could open tunnels through space, but we could not control where they led. The tunnels were one way. Once we left, we could never come back. We would be lost in unknown space, searching for new worlds, with no way to return to Earth. Chen paused the log again. She stood and walked to her viewport, looking out at the stars. They had been lost for so long. Drifting through the dark, searching for hope, she resumed the recording. And then someone asked the question that changed everything, young Sarah said. If we just disappeared, would the council come? He kept moving, kept fighting, refusing to go down. One guard got behind him, wrapped arms around Marcus in a crushing bear hug. Marcus felt his ribs grinding together, heard something crack. The guard was going to crush him to death. Marcus threw his head back, smashing into the guard's face. It barely fazed the Varaxian, but it loosened his grip slightly. Marcus dropped his weight suddenly, slipped down and out of the hold, and drove his elbow up into the guard's throat. The guard stumbled back, gasping 4 guards down. For to go, plus Vex. Marcus was running on pure adrenaline now. His body was breaking down, but his mind was still sharp. He saw patterns in their attacks, anticipated their moves. It wasn't enough to win, but it was enough to survive a little longer. Then something changed. New fighters entered the courtyard, but they weren't conspirators. They were palace guards, dozens of them led by General Thax himself. The human stands alone. Thax's voice boomed across the space. No warriors should die without allies. The enemy of my enemy fights beside me. Marcus almost laughed. The general he'd defeated 3 weeks ago was coming to help him. Only in a Vraxian empire would that make sense. Thax and his guards crashed into Vex's forces like a hammer. The odds shifted dramatically. Now, the conspirators were outnumbered and surrounded. But Vex himself charged at Marcus, roaring in fury. You've ruined everything. Your species should be extinct. Marcus was too injured to dodge. Vex's fist caught him in the chest, sending him flying backward. He hit the platform hard, his vision blurring. Vex advanced, pulling a blade from his belt. I'll kill you myself, Vex snarled. Then I'll kill your princess. Then I'll burn every human world to ash. Marcus tried to stand, failed. His body simply wouldn't respond anymore. He'd pushed it past its limits. Vex raised his blade for the killing blow. A plasma shot struck Vex in the shoulder, spinning him around. Kyra stood at the entrance to the platform, her weapon smoking. "You'll do nothing," she said coldly. "It's over, Vex." Behind her, the Emperor emerged from the bunker, surrounded by guards. He surveyed the battlefield, his golden eyes taking in everything. The dead conspirators, the wounded loyalists, Marcus, barely conscious on the ground, and his nephew, defeated. "Arrest them all," the Emperor commanded. "Every conspirator. They will face justice." As guards moved to secure Vex and the remaining traitors, Kyra ran to Marcus. She knelt beside him, her hands hovering over his injuries, not sure where to start. "You idiot," she said, but her voice was gentle. "You glorious, stupid idiot. Did it, ... work?" Marcus managed to ask. "Yes, my father is safe. The conspiracy is exposed." "You did it good." Marcus tried to smile. "Told you. I keep commitments." Dr. Sarah Kim arrived with a medical team. They loaded Marcus onto a stretcher carefully. As they carried him away, Marcus heard the Emperor speaking with General Thax. "The human fought like one of our greatest warriors," Thax was saying. "He stood alone against impossible odds and bought time for the royal family to escape. I've never seen such courage." "Neither have I," the Emperor said quietly. "Perhaps we've underestimated this species." 3 days later, Marcus woke in the medical wing. His body was wrapped in regeneration bandages, Varaxian medical technology working to repair his extensive injuries. Kyra sat beside his bed, her head resting on her arms. She was asleep. Marcus tried to move, and the slight sound woke her. She sat up quickly, her golden eyes wide. "You're awake. How do you feel?" "Like I fought 8 Varaxian warriors and lost," Marcus said. "How bad is it?" 3 cracked ribs, torn muscles in both legs, a concussion. "And enough bruising that the doctor said you're more purple than pink right now." She paused. "You should be dead, Marcus." "Yeah, I get that a lot." "The doctors say you'll recover fully. It will take time, but you'll heal." She reached out and took his hand. "Thank you. You saved my father's life. You saved all of us." "It's what I do," Marcus said. Then he remembered something. "Wait, you said the conspiracy was exposed?" "All of it." Kyra's face darkened. "Not all. We captured most of the conspirators, including Vex. But some escaped. And Marcus. They sent orders to the frontier fleets. False orders using military codes they stole. They're telling the fleets that the Emperor has been killed and that Vex is the new leader. They're ordering an immediate attack on human space." Marcus felt his blood run cold. "When the fleets will reach the border in 3 days. Maybe 4. We're trying to send recall orders, but the communication channels are compromised. We can't guarantee the fleets will get our messages before they attack." "How many ships?" 200 warships. "Enough to destroy every human colony. Enough to burn Earth itself." Marcus closed his eyes. After everything, after all the fighting and sacrifice, humanity was still going to die. The conspiracy had won after all. "No," he said, opening his eyes. "We're not done yet." "Marcus, you can barely move. You need to rest. There's no time for rest." Marcus forced himself to sit up, ignoring the screaming pain. "How fast can you get me to a ship?" "What are you planning?" "To stop the fleet myself if I have to," Marcus said. "I didn't survive a war, survive a duel, survive a coup, just to watch humanity burn from a hospital bed. Get me a ship, Kyra. I'm going to end this." She looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. "I'll do better than that. I'm coming with you, Kyra. You don't have to." "Yes, I do," she interrupted. "We started this together. We'll finish it together. Besides, you need me. The fleet might not listen to a human, but they'll listen to the Crown Princess." Marcus met her gaze and saw the determination there. She had changed since that first day in the throne room. Or maybe she hadn't changed. Maybe he just finally saw who she really was. "Then let's go save 2 empires," Marcus said. "Just 2?" Kyra asked with a slight smile. "I thought you humans always aimed higher." Despite everything, Marcus laughed. It hurt his ribs terribly. But it felt good. Outside, preparations were already beginning. Time was running out. The final battle was approaching. She married him to end the war, but he became a one-man army Part 5. The man who ended 2 wars. The ship was called the Storm's Edge, a fast courier vessel designed for speed rather than combat. Marcus stood on the bridge, his body still wrapped in medical bandages under his uniform. Every movement hurt, but he had learned to function through pain years ago. Kyra stood beside him, ready in her command armor. Behind them were Captain Vorn, Dr. Sarah Kim, and a small crew of loyalists. The Emperor himself had come to see them off. "If you fail," the Emperor said quietly, "humanity dies. But more than that, the Empire will be stained with dishonor. We will have broken a peace treaty through treachery. That shame will last forever." "We won't fail," Marcus said, with more confidence than he felt. The Emperor studied him. "I misjudged you, Commander Chen. I thought bringing you here was a show of dominance. Instead, you've shown us what your species truly is. Perhaps this peace was always meant to be more than a treaty." Perhaps, Marcus agreed. They launched within the hour, pushing the Storm's Edge to its maximum speed. They had maybe 2 days to intercept the fleet before it reached human space. 2 days to convince 200 warships to stand down. Commanded by officers who thought they were following legitimate orders, Marcus spent the time planning. He reviewed everything he knew about Vraxian military protocol, fleet command structure, and the psychology of their warriors. He also reviewed what he knew about the fleet's commander, Admiral Kresh. The admiral was old-school military, honorable but rigid. He would follow orders from what he believed was legitimate authority. "We can't just tell him the orders are fake," Marcus said to Kira as they studied tactical displays. "He'll think we're the conspirators trying to trick him." "Then what do we do?" Marcus thought for a moment. "We give him something he can't ignore. Something that proves beyond doubt that the conspiracy is real and that he's being used." "Like what?" "Like me," Marcus said. "Think about it. Everyone knows I'm married to you. Everyone knows I'm on the homeworld. If I show up in person, leading a ship, clearly working with you, it proves something is wrong with his orders. It creates doubt. That's a start, but doubt won't be enough to stop 200 ships." "No," Marcus agreed. "For that, I'll need to challenge the fleet's honor. Make them prove they deserve to attack. Make them question if they're being brave warriors or just pawns in someone else's game." Kyra looked at him with something like wonder. "You're going to shame them into standing down? Or die trying?" Marcus pulled up the communication protocols. "I'll broadcast on all frequencies. Not just to the Admiral, but to every ship, every crew member. Let them all hear. Let them all decide." They emerged from faster-than-light travel at the fleet's projected location. The tactical display lit up with red icons. 200 Vraxian warships in attack formation, less than 6 hours from the human border. "They've spotted us," the pilot called out. "They're hailing us." "Audio only." "Put them through," Kyra commanded. Admiral Kresh's voice came through the speakers, deep and authoritative. "Unidentified vessel, you are entering a military operation zone. Identify yourself immediately." Kyra activated the communication system. "Admiral Kresh, this is Crown Princess Kyra. Stand down your attack immediately. You are following false orders from traitors." There was a pause. "Princess Kyra, we received word that the Emperor was dead, killed by human conspirators. That you had been taken hostage." "That is a lie, Admiral. My father lives." "The coup was stopped. The orders you received were from traitors within our own military. Stand down." Another pause, longer this time. "Forgive me, Princess, but I cannot verify your claim. You could be under duress. The orders I received came through proper channels with correct authorization codes. Without proof, I cannot abort a legitimate military operation." Marcus stepped forward. "Admiral, this is Commander Marcus Chin. Maybe you've heard of me. The human who married the princess." "Yes, I've heard. The stories say you defeated General Thax in personal combat. They're true. I'm also the human who helped stop the coup attempt 3 days ago. I'm here, on this ship, working with Princess Kyra. Does that sound like your orders are correct?" "It sounds like you've corrupted the princess and her judgment," Kresh replied coldly. "You humans are clever, This could be a trick to save your species from righteous punishment. Marcus felt his frustration rising. The Admiral was too rigid, too certain. Words alone wouldn't work. Admiral, I'm going to make you an offer. A challenge. Varaxian tradition, as I understand it. What challenge? I will come to your flagship personally. Alone? Unarmed? You can verify I'm not under duress. We'll present our evidence. If you still believe your orders are legitimate after seeing everything we have, then continue your attack. But if there's even a chance you're being manipulated into starting an unjust war, you owe it to your honor to verify the truth. Silence on the other end. Marcus could imagine the Admiral weighing his options, caught between duty and doubt. And if this is a trick? Crash asked finally. Then you'll have me, the famous human warrior, as your prisoner. You can execute me publicly and continue your attack. Either way, you get what you want. More silence. Then, come aboard the flagship, Commander Chen. Alone. The princess may send you verification files, but she stays on her ship. If you try anything, both vessels will be destroyed. Understood, Marcus said. He looked at Kyra. Send me over. Marcus, this is insane. What if he doesn't believe us even after seeing the evidence? Then I'll have to convince him another way, Marcus said quietly. Captain Vorn prepared a shuttle while Marcus gathered the evidence files. Kyra walked with him to the shuttle bay. You're always doing this, she said, her voice tight. Always putting yourself in impossible situations. Always risking everything. What I'm good at, Marcus said. I hate it. She grabbed his arm, stopping him. I hate that you do this. I hate that it works. I hate that I'm starting to. She stopped, the words catching. Marcus looked at her. Starting to what? Care, she finished quietly. I'm starting to care what happens to you. This wasn't supposed to happen. You were supposed to be a political arrangement, a symbol, but you're more than that now. Marcus reached out and touched her face gently. You're more than I expected to. When this is over, maybe we should talk about that. When this is over, you're taking a month off to actually heal, Kyra said firmly. I'm tired of watching you almost die. Deal. The shuttle launched, carrying Marcus toward the massive flagship at the center of the fleet. As he approached, he could see the ship's weapons were armed and tracking his shuttle. One wrong move, and he would be vaporized. The shuttle docked, and Marcus stepped out into a corridor lined with armed guards. They escorted him to the flagship's command bridge, where Admiral Kresh waited. The Admiral was older, his stone-like skin marked with the scars of a long military career. His golden eyes studied Marcus with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. So this is the human everyone talks about, Kresh said. You don't look that impressive? I get that a lot, Marcus replied. Usually right before I prove them wrong. Despite himself, Kresh almost smiled. Show me your evidence. Marcus presented everything. Documentation of the conspiracy. Recordings of Vex's confession. Testimony from captured traitors. Medical records from the coup attempt showing when and how the false orders were sent. Every piece of proof they had gathered, Kresh reviewed it all carefully, his expression growing darker with each file. Finally, he looked up. This is ... troubling. If true, it means we've been manipulated. Used as weapons by traitors. It's true, Admiral. I swear it on my honor as a soldier. The honor of a human, Kresh said slowly. 3 months ago, I would have laughed at those words. Human honor meant nothing to us. But I've been hearing stories. About you. About how you fight. About how you never break. He paused. Tell me, Commander Chen, why did you really come here? You could have let us attack. Let our fleet become trapped in human space while you eliminated the conspiracy at home. It would have been tactically sound. Marcus met his gaze steadily. Because billions of innocent people would die. Humans and Varaxians, both. Because this war was supposed to be over. Because I made a promise to end it, and I keep my promises. Kresh was quiet for a long time. My orders were clear. Attack at dawn, destroy all human military installations, prepare for planetary bombardment. Those orders were written by traitors who wanted to restart the war for their own power. Following them makes you their tool. Or Kresh said slowly. Not following them makes me a traitor myself. How do I know you're telling the truth? How do I know this evidence hasn't been fabricated? Marcus realized they had reached the critical moment. Evidence wasn't enough. Logic wasn't enough. He needed something more. Admiral, you want proof? Then contact the homeworld directly. Speak to the Emperor yourself. Verify through channels that can't be faked. Communication is too slow. By the time I get verification, we'll already be at the border. Then make a choice, Marcus said. Choose between blind obedience and conscious honor. Choose between being a warrior or being a weapon. That's what this comes down to, isn't it? Are you a soldier following orders, or are you a leader responsible for your actions? Kresh's eyes flashed. You dare question my honor? I question whether you're letting others define your honor for you, Marcus said calmly. In my military, we had a saying. Orders tell you what to do, but honor tells you how to do it. And sometimes honor means questioning if the orders themselves are right. Humans have no concept of true honor, really. Marcus stepped closer. Then let me tell you about honor, Admiral. Honor is my people fighting for 12 years against impossible odds and never surrendering. Honor is me agreeing to marry someone I'd never met to save billions of lives. Honor is Princess Kyra helping me stop a coup, even though it meant fighting her own family. Honor is me standing here, unarmed, surrounded by your guards, because I believe you're a good enough leader to see the truth. The bridge was completely silent. Every officer present was listening. You want to know what human honor looks like? Marcus continued, his voice carrying across the bridge. It looks like us surviving. It looks like us adapting. It looks like us never, ever giving up, no matter how many times we're knocked down. You had us beaten. Your empire was stronger, bigger, better equipped. But we were still fighting. We would still be fighting when your great-grandchildren were old. That's human honor. The refusal to quit. Admiral Kresh stared at him for a long moment. Then he turned to his communication officer. Open a channel to the entire fleet. All frequencies. Every ship, every crew member, sir. The officer asked, confused. Do it. The officer complied. A light indicated the channel was open, broadcasting to all 200 ships. Kresh spoke clearly. This is Admiral Kresh, to all fleet personnel. We have received information that our attack orders may have been issued by traitors attempting to manipulate the Empire. I am ordering a hold on offensive operations while we verify the truth. Murmurs rippled across the bridge. Someone protested. Admiral, we can't just stop based on unverified claims. No, Kresh agreed. We can't. Which is why I'm going to let everyone decide. He gestured to Marcus. Say what you need to say, human. Speak to my fleet. Marcus hadn't expected this, but he adapted quickly. He stepped forward to the communication console. My name is Commander Marcus Chen. Some of you might know me as the human who fought General Thax, or the human who married Princess Kyra, or maybe you just know me as part of a defeated enemy species. He paused, gathering his thoughts. I came here today because I believe something important. I believe that most soldiers, regardless of which species they are, want to fight for the right reasons. They want to protect their people. They want to serve with honor. They don't want to be used as tools for someone else's ambition. I know. You think you're following legitimate orders to restart the war with humanity? But those orders came from traitors. Traitors who tried to kill your emperor. Traitors who tried to murder Princess Kyra and her family. Traitors who failed in their coup and are now trying to use you to finish what they started. If you continue this attack, billions will die. Human civilians. Varaxian soldiers. All for nothing except one man's failed grab at power. That's not honor. That's not duty. That's just murder. I know what you're thinking. Why should you trust a human? Why should you believe me? I can't answer that. I can only tell you what I know. The war is over. The treaty is signed. The only people who want it restarted are the ones who lost power because of peace. Well, I'm asking you, all of you, every soldier in this fleet, do you want to be warriors? Or do you want to be weapons? Warriors think,